Welcome to Nerds Amalgamated, a podcast that covers the latest events in science, pop culture, and gaming.
I'm the professor, aspiring game developer, sci-fi aficionado, and completely and undeniably a geek trying to take over the world. I'll be breaking down the news from tech to gaming.
I am the DJ, a humble nerd, a big weeb,
and a watcher from the halls of the multiverse.
Just kidding. Anyways, I'll be breaking down all things comics to movies to anime.
Join us and stay hydrated as we quench you with witty banter, unintentionally hilarious hot takes, and trivia more fun than a night at the pub, courtesy of Nerds Amalgamated. Welcome back to Nerds Amalgamated. This week we're talking about ending the story of live-action game. Why do I keep saying that? Ending the story of live service games.
How many weeks have we been away for now?
Long enough that I should be doing better.
And after a Supercell and a Blackout, we should be doing better. Yeah, I agree.
We're also talking about Doctor Who's split with Disney and the potential dangers of mirror life. So first up, we have the end of Destiny 2 story. Have you ever played Destiny, DJ?
No, I haven't played Destiny, but I know of it.
Yeah, neither have I, but it came in a Humble Bundle like a month ago. And now I'm seeing that the story's just finished. And it's like, okay, maybe I want to play it now the story's finished and I can play the whole story. But I hear they're pretty aggressive with microtransactions. And also, the other problem is, you can't play the whole story.
Oh, you serious? Wait, from the get-go?
Yeah, they have taken down the first half of the story because they needed to make room to fit in more content. So there is content people paid for that they cannot access. They can still play the game, so it's not all the end of the world, but stuff that they can't access because it's been taken down to make room for other stuff. But that's a bit beside the point. What we're really talking about this week is the end of its story, because Destiny has been building up a story for 10 years since they released the first Destiny.
Okay. 10 years, that's nothing to be sneezed at. How long is the World of Warcraft story going for? Must be going as long as the World of Warcraft story right at this point.
Yeah, World of Warcraft has been around for like 20 years.
Okay.
But they're seeing a interesting side effect of wrapping up their story. So these days Destiny 2 is a free-to-play game, which makes me wonder what was actually included in that Humble Bundle. Anyway, it's a free-to-play game, so anyone can just download it and create a character and jump right in. And the thing is, since the story wrapped up, people haven't been. The statistics that we have available to the public have showing it just go off a cliff, basically.
Well, okay, when you say go off a cliff, how bad is the how steep is the cliff, and or how high is the cliff, and how big is the fall?
So when looking at this graph, back in 2017, with the Red War release, they had 3.5 million peak players. Over 3.5 million. Sorry? 5.5 million. It's a bit of a compressed graph. And they've never quite hit that high again. But since 2020, in 2020 they hit... No, it is 3.5 million for Red War. Sorry, the font on the graph is just hard to read. They hit 2.5 million for Shadowkeep.
Okay.
And then in 2021, Beyond Light only got to less than 2 million. And that's been their peak for each release since Beyond Light in 2021. But if you look at the player count after each release, it goes down and it comes back up and down and back up. And I assume that is, I'm assuming that's weekly. If this is a daily stat graph, maybe that's weekends peaks. But because it's daily online players, so I think weekends probably have peaks and then drops.
I think you got public holidays and all the other days to look at other off days.
Actually, the frequency doesn't add up there for that in theory.
Yeah.
So they must have had free-to-play weekends or something that got people back into the game in between major expansion drops. So wrapping up the story, the final shape peaked at about 1,000. I'm going to call that 1,750. Sorry, 1,750,000 players.
Yeah.
Which, not bad, not terrible. But if you look at the way the graph goes, so you can find the link in our show notes to the gamesindustry.biz article about this. A trend line drawn for each expansion would look roughly the same for each expansion, except for the final shape, where it just goes down and it doesn't come back up because they've released another expansion, the Edge of Fate, which doesn't even hit 1 million daily online players.
Yeah, then it has yeah, it barely touches a million. It just okay. It stopped. It stopped nearly a million and then went down. What the heck?
Well, yeah, so why would you keep playing once the story is over? They've
I mean,
obviously kept the expansions going. I assume they're starting a new story arc, but it's obviously not pulling in people to play it. And they've taken 10 years to build up this story from the original release of Destiny through to the release of the final shape. And now it's just over and players are going and touching grass.
well, that's one way of putting it. Yeah, that's one way of putting it.
Yeah, they're touching grass, they're playing other games. It looks like a lot of things that kept people hooked on Destiny was the storyline and not having new content. Well, even with new content, something just isn't drawing them back in for the Edge of Fate. And the article points out that from a storytelling point of view, that is incredible that you stick the landing and people love the ending and you wrap it up in a nice bow. You half the time you don't even get that chance. I'm sure we've all played a game that falls off after the first few hours because the writers had a good idea, front loaded all of the good stuff, and then by the time you get in and can't refund it anymore, it's too late. The story's gone off a cliff.
It and plus, I think it's a victim of the business model in terms of you want to keep the players engaged long term.
Yeah, so really, the from a business point of view, the smart thing for Destiny to do is to keep churning on this 10-year long story. Now,
Yeah, and the funny thing is, though, Professor, the funny thing is, people and those people who want that game to end completely end, they'll be like, they get blue balled. They'll get blue balled from this.
yeah, I know a lot of people want it to end because it's not Halo.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never got the hype for Destiny, and I've never gotten the hype for most live service games, except Helldivers 2.
But that's the thing though. Like everyone was satisfied with that payoff, and they were satisfied with that payoff, and then they left. But then now you got this new thing, this new angle, new arc come out. It's like, oh, that payoff that you had from the last arc. Oh, it's yeah, it doesn't matter anymore. That kind of thing. It's like, oh, you want that game ending payoff, don't you? You want it so bad. Well, tough shit. You can't have it. Story
Well,
resol
I see what you're saying. So, yeah, from a business point of view, it's. I get what you're saying now. You were saying that the people who want the story to end because they want a nice ending are
Yeah,
going to get strung along and eventually fall off. But theoretically, the game would keep running longer before the player count is basically halved in the last expansion.
yeah.
Now, a million daily online players is still pretty damn respectable
Hmm.
for a DLC launch, but it has fallen off really quickly to levels that haven't been seen since the release of Curse of Osiris, which was apparently very poorly received because all of these expansions have a fairly high peak, but Curse of Osiris is just a massive valley in between the other expansions. And yeah, there's some, you know, a couple of 100,000 daily online players, which is still very respectable, an indie game. But this isn't an indie game. This is
Yeah.
Bungie. That's not good enough for Bungie.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Bungie's still owned by Microsoft.
Uh, if I recall correctly, they got
I
out of
think they bought
Microsoft.
themselves out.
Yeah.
So they're more AA than AAA these days.
They're a subsidiary for Sony. Yeah, the
Okay.
parent company is Sony. Yeah.
Yep, Sony bought them out then.
Yeah.
So yeah, they've got a AAA publisher. So we're expecting good stuff. And that, frankly, is got to be better than what they've published for The Edge of Fate. Because looking at player counts alone, it might have the greatest story ever, but it's not hooking players. And that's a big problem because it's a live service game, and live service games without players are on their way out very quickly. Not as fast as Concord.
Oh shit. Yeah, that was that's the less said the better. How about that?
Yeah, so not that Concord had a story as far as I'm like in game. From what I know, the story of that is was all going to be in external media. But anyway, so Destiny 2, they've now wrapped up the story and they need to keep players drawn in. They need to keep the money coming in, but the players aren't coming in. So what are they going to do? In Destiny's example, I think, look, I would say let it die. Come up with a new game.
But
But
okay, but here's a question though. Like, if okay, let's say let's say we let it die. Uh, what responsibilities do developers have to players if that game if a live service game reaches its end of life scenario?
well, we've spoken about the Stop Killing Games movement a bunch, and
Yeah.
that I'd like to see server binaries released so that people can play the game on private servers.
But then what would be the point though? Like without a without a story though, like how would you continue the game per se?
Well, you can go back in and replay a level you've already played and hope for different loot. It's a looter shooter.
Oh yeah, okay. Yep, that's fair. That's
So
fair.
half the gameplay is basically replaying levels and looking for a better loot.
Hmm.
I mean, you brought up World of Warcraft earlier. People have been playing
Yeah.
World of Warcraft for years, playing the same dungeons over and over to get particular loot items.
Yeah, I see your point. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Get the loot randomized and all that. Yeah, I see your point.
Yeah. So, from a Stop Killing Games perspective, I think, yeah, let Destiny die. Let there be private servers that people can hop on and play with their friends because ultimately it's got hundreds of thousands of players at the moment. But from what I've seen in videos I've watched of Destiny, you're only really playing with 3 or 4 people at a time.
Yeah.
So you could realistically play through all of the story without a master server keeping you synced up with hundreds of thousands of other players.
Yeah,
But
I
I
can see.
think, yeah, let it die rather than drag it out because I feel like haven't seen it much with games that get dragged out beyond where they should have ended. Maybe Mass Effect Andromeda tried to do something almost completely different from Mass Effect and didn't do very well because it wasn't more Mass Effect. And the release of Andromeda is not the release. The story is detached almost entirely from the story of Mass Effect 1 to 3. And I know a lot of people who would say, let it end, wrap the story up, give it an ending, because we've all seen a show that has gone on too long.
The big question should be: can a game that's designed to last indefinitely ever deliver a true narrative closure?
Not if it's going to last forever,
Hmm.
but that's okay. Some things are ephemeral and we can allow them to pass.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, but then it will also kill the monetization side of the live service games, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but I think then it comes down to a matter of reputation. If you do you have the reputation as the company that ran a good idea into the ground and no one wants to come back to you because of that? Or do you have the reputation as the company who ended something early before it got crap and people want to come back because they see what you can do. They want more of what you can do.
I would personally go for the four. To be honest, I mean, look at for
You might
example
make
the
more money short term,
yeah.
but I think you'd make more money long term if you don't ruin your reputation.
Yeah, yeah. Because it's interesting you mention that because I will also pose a question: should developers prioritize player satisfaction or continuous monetization in live service games? In your opinion?
I think you'll see a very clear indie AAA split there.
Hmm.
The AAA devs are going to focus on keeping the money coming in. The indies are going to focus on wrapping up the story because as indies, you have a lot more artistic freedom. You don't have the suits breathing down your neck about bringing in more money.
Yeah. And even if you go indie for you have a lot of creative control, and you also have to question like, okay, if a long story arc is if a long story arc which has a meaningful ending doesn't work, how about creating smaller narrative arcs to provide meaningful endings?
Yeah, you could do something more episodic.
Yeah.
Valve tried that. Episode 3, when Gabe? We've been on a cliffhanger for 20 years.
Speaking of episodic, it reminds me of that game Dispatch. They're releasing their games in the episodic format, which is interesting.
Yeah. A lot of smaller devs have tried that,
Yeah,
and it hasn't necessarily worked out well for them because all of the developers I can think of who were doing episodic stories 10 years ago, 15 years ago, they're all closed down. You probably remember Telltale.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they quite famously closed down, and their whole thing was episodic stories, where they'd release one chapter of the game at a time, and presumably use the funding from releasing part one to finish part two.
Yeah, I remember that. That was a oh, that was funny. The way they destroyed themselves in the process, and then they came back again.
So yeah, I
Although,
don't think a AAA live service game can have an
mm,
ending
oh yeah, yeah.
because there'll
Although,
be people breathing down your neck to tell you to make more money.
yeah, I think a proper. I think nowadays, a proper ending is overrated. It's the frustration is part of the thrill.
Oh, come on, you weirdo!
Come on! How? Come on, think about it. Like, imagine being the getting the ending. Like, oh, come on! It's I'm
You want
fresh.
to be left hanging? You
I
want to
don't.
be given cliffhangers and then nothing?
That would be the ultimate plot twist. Imagine like the ultimate plot twist: it left hanging, and the server shuts down.
Yeah, that happens. Not for live action necessarily, live service necessarily, but for episodic indie games. Anyway, we should move on to another point where we've been left hanging. Doctor Who,
Oh yeah, yeah.
with Billy Piper playing the role of something.
Did she
Every other
play?
Doctor in the current era has been introduced with introducing actor as the Doctor, except Billy Piper, which means she might not be the Doctor, but she might be. And we're not going to find out until Christmas next year. And it's not driving me crazy at all.
See, this is what happens when the streaming giant says, "We're out." Could this be the beginning of the end or a new chapter for Doctor Who?
Well, we all thought the Disney stuff was going to be a new chapter. And apart from a higher budget, it wasn't really anything amazing.
Yeah, yeah. This partnership was announced in 2022 when Disney would have provided international streaming distribution for this show, while BBC remained the domestic broadcast home.
Yeah, and it meant that I had to pay to watch Doctor Who for the first time in my life.
Oh, and how much money how much fees did they jack up while you were paying to watch Doctor Who in
I
those
think there's been two price increases.
oh damn.
So, yearly price increases, but they're more than inflation.
So yeah, for the uninitiated, Disney Plus has officially ended its co-production slash distribution partnership with BBC on Doctor Who after 2 seasons featuring Nkuti Gatwa as the Doctor.
Shooty cow.
Nkuti Gatwa?
It's pronounced
Uh,
shooty.
okay. So the one of the main reasons is financial reasons, as each Disney produced episode reportedly cost around 13 million US dollars, making production very expensive.
Yeah, and Doctor Who has traditionally been made on shoestrings.
Yeah, yeah.
So, there was a huge flood of money, and we got some nice special effects out of it.
I mean,
But
yeah,
and it was the most fun I've had watching Doctor Who in a long. But
are you saying
considering the last couple of years, that's not saying much.
okay, are you saying that like you said that it's the best one you ever had? Are you saying that from a visual perspective, or are you saying that from a writing perspective, or are you just saying that from a guy with rose tinted glasses perspective?
I'm saying that it's better than the Timeless Child.
Oh god, let's not talk about that.
I also assume, actually, I've just realised based on this that we're only
Yeah.
getting one season of The War Between Land and Sea, which is a Doctor Who spin off that hasn't aired yet, but is
Mhm.
part of the BBC Disney deal. The arrangement was to have like 24 episodes or something, and they've done 2 seasons of no, it can't have been 24.
5
Anyway, the
episodes.
arrangement was a certain number of episodes. We got 2 seasons of Doctor Who, and then a season of a spin off to make up for that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to assume that's not going to get a second season, so I hope that doesn't end on a cliffhanger, like the last Doctor Who spin-off, Class.
Shit. They said here it will still be debuting on Disney Plus. So
Yeah, but Disney's pulled out of the deal to make it.
Uh, I think they'll still like even if Disney says like yeah we're pulling out of it, I think they will still do it like as a kind of a good faith kind of
Yeah, they've got to
thing.
finish it. That's the
Yeah,
contract.
yeah,
But
yeah,
as soon
yeah.
as the contract's over, it's over. They're not going to they're not going to keep making more episodes once the
Oh
contract's
yeah,
over.
yeah, fair enough. So the BBC has confirmed that Doctor Who will continue, even without Disney's involvement. They stated that the TARDIS is going nowhere, and a new Christmas special is scheduled for 25th of December 2026, written by current showrunner Russell T Davies. Which, oh,
Controversial.
yeah.
Yes, his return, when it was announced, everyone was like, yay, this is definitely going to be better than The Timeless Child. And what we got was a couple of really good episodes, but a lot of Russell T Davies being a bit full of himself.
it from what I've gathered about the the new Russell T Davies era.
Yeah, we call it
appa-
RTD2. RTD2.
okay. Oh, clever, clever. The RTD2 era, the new one. From what I've gathered, apparently it wasn't. It was flying the seat of its clown pants. From what I've heard.
Well, there was also a lot of behind the scenes nonsense going on. Like, they had to cut Shooty from 2 episodes in the first season. And it was only 8 episodes long, so there wasn't a lot of material to cut there. And write episodes focused around other characters because he was busy filming the other show he was working on.
Oh damn.
So, yeah, by the time the scheduling just didn't work out for the first season. Then it sounds like the companion for the first season dropped out and was supposed to be the full-time companion for season 2 as well. Which, because we've gone to Disney, we start counting from 1 again. It should be season 41 or something like that. I've lost count. Or failing that, season 16. But yeah, it seemed like there was a lot of last-minute rewrites.
Yeah. The episode count and the show is entering a transitional phase from potential cast and format changes. Yeah, there was a lot of casting choices were really questionable as well, if I recall.
What do you mean questionable?
Uh, like Billy Piper coming back again. Like, what the hell?
Well, yes.
So, given this breakup, how will this affect the global audience and accessibility in your point of view?
Well, I reckon the BBC is going to have to find another streaming partner because I think it's going to be hard for them to get back in with broadcasters around the world. Because right up until they cancelled the broadcast rights for in favor of Disney, they had distribution agreements with all these different broadcasters, including the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, and they've burnt that bridge. So who's going to carry it? Which could be a problem. Doctor Who was, I don't know if it still is, one of the top 3 money-making shows for the BBC.
Yeah, but they only made them. The only reason why that's becoming it was a money making show is because the BBC had the TV license thing.
No, it has
Like,
nothing to do with the TV license.
is it though? Is
No,
it?
because it was internationally popular, where you don't pay the TV license.
Yeah,
The
okay,
TV
yeah.
license is for British people.
I know, I get that, but then like it's popular at home because of the TV license.
No, it's popular in England because it's a good show, and it makes money for the BBC. The BBC gets money whether they make Doctor Who or not because of the TV license, but they make a whole bunch of money from merchandise and broadcast rights for Doctor, which are not things that are covered by the TV license.
Okay, yeah, okay, that's fair. That's fair.
And if I remember correctly, the other 2 top earners for the BBC were Top Gear, which obviously not anymore.
Since they've gone to, I think they went to Amazon, if I recall
Yeah, and
correctly.
they recast Top Gear and kept it going for a few years, but I think it has wrapped up now.
Yeah, it wrapped up 3 years ago. Yeah, when they changed the host.
Yep. So the other show I think was Coronation Street.
Oh, Coronation Street. It's just basically the British version of Neighbours.
Neighbours is basically the British version of Neighbours. Nobody in Australia watches Neighbours. Only the British watch Neighbours. I'm pretty sure the only reason Neighbours gets made is because the British love it so much.
Although, mind you, Neighbours has been cancelled not once but twice now.
Anyway, since we're looking at 18 months until a more than 18-month gap between Doctor Who episodes, I think it's appropriate to put on Hans Zimmer's masterpiece, Doctor in Distress.
Oh no.
You've heard it?
I vaguely remembered that.
Yes, Hans Zimmer, along with a whole bunch of other Doctor Who fans and actors, got together in the 80s to make a charity single about Doctor Who. And it is famously so bad that despite the promise that all profits would go to charity, it never turned a profit.
Yeah, no money went to the charity. Oh damn.
It does have the line 18 months is too long to wait, but it could have been less time if the Disney deal wasn't contingent on waiting for the war between land and sea, which still isn't out, but if they'd been able to make a decision before now, basically, I'm sure we would have Doctor Who sooner. So
But
in a
okay,
way
so
we can blame Disney for holding Doctor Who hostage.
okay, you mentioning the land between the war between land and sea. Them being staying in Disney, is that a confusing brand split or is it a smart move?
I think it's just wrapping up the contract. And whatever new streaming platform they end up with, I wouldn't be surprised to see it get dropped and cease to exist somewhere.
Yeah, and then even if they go to a new streaming platform, does this split signal the end of big budget sci-fi on streaming services? Because
I hope
13
not.
million per episode. Because 13 million per episode. That is it worth it or is it just overkill?
I really hope not. Because big budget sci fi is great. Small budget sci fi is great. Sci fi great. Like, Doctor Who never needed a big budget to be great. But the big budget sure helps with some of the special effects.
Yeah, because yeah, I do remember some of the hilarity that came from small budget Doctor Who episodes, like like the Green Monster, which was just basically some guy wrapped up in wrapping paper.
It was bubble wrap.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. The bubble wrap. Yeah, I don't know. Like the more I think about this, the more questions arise from this. Like for example, could losing Disney Plus finally let the showrunner tell the story they actually want, or not?
Well, wouldn't they have done that before without the Disney deal?
I mean, the Timeless Child was a could be one example.
Yeah, of the story that the showrunner wanted to write.
Yeah,
So they were doing that even without Disney.
yeah, I know, but Disney like if it's with a Disney deal, I reckon there would have been like a lot of creative stuff. Like you have to mention this, do that, do this. Like now with no,
Right, you think Disney was making them jump through hoops?
yeah,
I don't know. I feel like that's not really the case because the BBC has been adamant that they maintain control. So Disney was just a supporting factor, which means they got to use Disney special effects tech like the volume, but they also got to well, they got to make the show they wanted to make just using Disney's equipment, basically.
yeah, yeah. I see a point. I see where you're coming from. Like, yeah, they made a lot of cool special effects stuff, and a lot of the technology, a lot of the Disney Plus technology, as I like to say it, was made the shows watchable and viable to make. Yeah, but now with that out of the way, could you see them take bolder risks or be forced to play it safe? That would be interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think there's anyone at the BBC who outright wants Doctor Who dead, so I think they'll be allowed to take risks.
Yeah, yeah. They can take the risks, but will the fandom will the fandom follow them? That'd be another question because it's ever since Capaldi left and we had Jodie Whittaker and all the other new doctors, it's just been split apart, torn asunder, basically.
Well, Capaldi was divisive when he was in. I remember hearing people saying that they weren't going to watch anymore because the Doctor wasn't young and hot anymore.
What? And I distinctly remember there was a line in the Capaldi in the third. Is it the third Capaldi Christmas special or was it second? The one with the first Doctor.
That would have been the third.
Okay, yeah, the third one. And when the first Doctor said like I could be a whole lot I could be younger, and Capaldi's response was I'm Younger.
Yeah, but he's not hot, apparently.
Oh yeah.
As if those attack eyebrows aren't hot.
You mean drawn on eyebrows?
They're not drawn on, those are natural. Peter Capaldi just has crazy eyebrows. But there were people who were watching just because Matt Smith and David Tennant were hot.
Yeah.
And I don't know why you'd watch something that you don't really like just because the actor is hot.
Yeah, jokes aside though, with about Capaldi, how will with the new Doctor with the new Doctor, whoever comes in as after Gatwa's run, well, doomed to be remembered as short-lived but iconic run. It's gonna be big shoes to fill for that person. Hey,
I mean, you're filling over 60 years worth of shoes.
hmm,
So, yes. But we should be moving on
sure.
to talk about our science topic, which sounds like something out of Doctor Who. Mirror life. It's not the man in the mirror, and it'll kill you. So I had to explain this to you the other day, Dee,
Yeah.
that when you look at the shape of molecules that make up life, they're all what's called right-handed, and you can take them and basically shuffle the parts around so you get the mirror image of the molecule, and that's called left-handed. And what's cool is that the left-handed molecules are not very bioreactive, as in your body doesn't know what to do with them. So left-handed sugar tastes just like sugar, but it won't give you obesity.
Oh shit. So is this gonna be like, I can't believe it's not butter, but but in the left-handed verse it'll be, I can believe it's butter, but it won't give you that same feeling of eating butter.
Well, the problem is it's incredibly expensive to.
Oh damn.
Yeah, but scientists have been working on a paper, which the initial paper came out in December last year, but it's all come back to the surface again in the last couple of weeks. The paper was titled "Confronting Risks of Mirror Life," which itself is a summary of a 300-page report, which I admit I haven't read the whole thing. And the idea is that scientists want to play God by taking basic molecules and building up life out of them. And theoretically, we don't see it in nature, but theoretically, you could do that with left-handed molecules and get left-handed life. And part of the reason to want to do that is because left-handed life could produce left-handed molecules for pharmaceuticals so you can have your left-handed sugar snacks. And I forgot to mention the risk of left-handed molecules. You might have heard of thalidomide.
Yeah.
It's a morning sickness drug. Perfectly safe as long as you only take I believe it was right-handed molecules of thalidomide. If you use no, I've just pulled up the Wikipedia article and I have actually made a mistake there. It's not thalidomide I'm thinking of. Okay. No, it is thalidomide. That's what I get for only reading the first paragraph of Wikipedia.
And this is why Elon wants to get rid of
Well, anyway, the theory behind the thalidomide problem is that it causes birth defects. It's a morning sickness medicine that causes birth defects if you take the left-handed thalidomide molecule. So possibly left-handed sugar will still kill you, but the interesting thing is that mirror life built up using these left-handed molecules would be invisible to our bodies. So you could have a bacteria that, because of the way we recognize bacteria with our immune systems, and other chemical reactions occur based on the shape of the molecule. Left-handed mirror image molecules don't fit into the same receptors as right-handed molecules. So there's a small but incredibly dangerous risk that creating life using left-handed molecules will be very cool for a very short period of time. Probably not long enough to get the paper published, because it could go grey goo on us and start converting all matter into, flood the planet and use up all the resources and outcompete natural life because it's got no natural predators.
Okay, so hypothetically, if this gets leaked from a lab, is this going to be the next lab leak meme?
I feel like we won't have time to make memes. We'll be too busy trying not to die. So, for that reason, a group of scientists got together, including Kate Adamala, who was paid like was part of a multi-million-dollar grant to research these mirror life. They came together to write papers and form a research group, basically begging not to do it.
Yeah, but okay. Even if you make that argument like, oh, it's dangerous and it's dangerous, don't do it. You can't beat human curiosity. Come on.
You
There's
can't, but
always
human curiosity doesn't have access to incredibly sophisticated labs.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
to be clear, we're a long way off actually doing it. We can't even make natural, like, right-handed life. So to make left-handed life, we need to figure out how to make. We basically should be working on making right-handed life synthetically first, then working out how to create the mirror image.
And okay, so is creating mirror life an example of scientific curiosity or dangerous hubris?
Both, because scientists want to do things because they can. The risk is that someone will do it anyway, even though there's been all of these scientists coming together and pledging not to do it, and have a lab leak and spread it around the world and basically end life on Earth. And that would be an example of hubris, definitely, to
Hmm.
think that we can create something that has never possibly existed in the history of the universe. I doubt it, though. I think mirror life probably exists somewhere in the universe, but it's a possibility that just like matter and antimatter, most life is right-handed.
Yeah.
Then the question is what happens when these two life forms interact. And yes, it's hubris to think that we can do something that's never been done before with absolutely zero risk. So maybe we should be doing this on a spaceship or the moon or something, somewhere we don't care if we screw up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, but okay, if it outgrows if we interact with the mirror life, you reckon it's gonna eat us, pay attention, look at us, or ignore us? Actually, no. A
Well,
better question. No, actually, let me refrain. Let me
okay.
rephrase that question. Let me rephrase the question. If the mirror microbes escape, would they eat us, ignore us, or out evolve us?
It's a hard question. I mean, I'm personally inclined to think that if we created just one or two mirror cells, they would starve to death. Because what can they eat? On the other hand, microbial life can figure out some pretty wild things to eat, like photosynthesis or streamophiles that live in around the volcanic vents in the deep ocean and basically live off the chemicals around them. So yeah, if we created a couple of cells that didn't have photosynthesis or some other way to make food, we'd probably be okay. If we were to create cells that were self-replicating and able to create their own, then we're screwed.
Oh yeah, yeah. And then by then, that would you support would if it reaches to that point, would you support a research pause in in that scenario?
Yes, I would. I would think that a research pause on this would be, and that ideally an international coalition of scientists would make sure that a safe way to create this life, like in space or wherever, without putting Earth at risk. And yeah, I would be okay with going ahead with it. But
Yeah, but the problem with that would be governments would also have to be involved in this as well. And do you want governments to have veto power over synthetic life?
well, the good news is it's probably going to be a bit harder to make synthetic life than it is to make.
Hmm.
So any government that's like, let's create a weapon, would be like, okay, we'll create nuclear bombs rather than synthetic life.
Would you see it becomes an arms race thing? Like if another country secretly develops mirror life, like could you see this become a global bio arms race?
Well, once it's created and proven that it's safe-ish, sure.
Yeah, I don't know which is scarier, this or AI.
Are you going to have nightmares tonight, DJ?
Oh no, oh no, a mirror life AI AI fusion is attacking me. Oh no, save me. It's like a plot to a David Cronenberg movie. Bio horror and everything. Oh, that would be interesting. The biological potentials this thing could would be involved in.
Yeah, I can think of a couple of movie ideas with it.
Oh no. Knowing you, Professor, and how twisted your mind can be, I don't know if I can
Anyway, let's go on with our shoutouts. On the 28th of October, we pass the 15th anniversary of the Wii Remote Plus, the upgraded version of the Wii Remote, which was built with a module called Wii Motion Plus. Greatly improved the accuracy. So the Wii Motion Plus was a module that plugged into the back of the Wiimote.
You have the Wii, don't you?
I did. I left it when I moved out of home.
Ah.
To be fair, I don't really have the room in my apartment to be throwing things around, which is why I
Well,
bought a VR headset.
did with the Wii Motion with the Wii Remote Plus, did the price of the increase the price of the controller significantly, or was it just like, it's $1 or $2 extra, I don't mind it.
I have no idea. That was a long time ago.
Fair enough.
And what was our messed up moment this week?
Messed up moment of in nerddom this week. So since going with the theme of Doctor Who and everything biologically horrifying, um, are you familiar with the Seventh Doctor
I am.
and the story arc Dragonfire?
Yes, I believe that's the one where it has a literal cliffhanger where he climbs down a cliff, gets stuck halfway down, episode ends, and then at the start of the next episode he just climbs back up.
Yeah, for no reason. But what isn't remembered for is containing what might be the most visually gruesome death of the entire show. And I think you may remember this part. This was at the story's climax of the Rule of Ice World. Kane, who has to keep his body nice and cool, is killed off after exposing himself to scorching hot, unfiltered sunlight. Now, what we can only assume is that the production team had just finished the rewatch of Raiders of the Lost Ark, because instead of a simple crossfade or a colorful visual effect you would expect from a episode of Classic Who, we get to watch Cade's entire face melt off while he screams in agony in a bloody great bit of practical effects work.
Fun. I don't actually remember that. Maybe I blocked it out.
Yeah, the special effects team clearly put a lot of effort in the shot, as you can see layers of bone and a complete eyeball being revealed as Kay's skin and flesh being liquidized. Oh, joy!
Yeah, I've actually
And
been planning to do a rewatch during the hiatus, so I'll get to that in a long time because that's near the end of the original run.
oh yeah, yeah. What's that they say? Doctor Who is for kids. Well, yeah, this definitely wasn't for the kids.
Doctor Who is so for kids that the BBC once received a complaint from a woman who was upset that her son was terrified by the music.
Are you kidding me?
The music!
That'd be sick. Someone's made a 4K version of the death, by the way. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'll put the death on the show notes for those who are brave enough to watch it. Yeah. Yeah. That's really messed up. And that's gonna haunt me for tonight.
Yeah, that is, wow. That is quite graphic for a children's show.
Yep. Yeah, yeah. Now I have to drink a cat. Now I have to drink a sachet of res to kind of get that thing out of my head right now. At this point.
Kinda reminds me of the episode End of the World, second season of the revival. Second episode of the revival. Where they're on a spaceship all watching as the sun expands and destroys the Earth. And the bad guy has hacked the sun protection screens on the windows so that they retract and cook everyone alive. But they didn't go quite as graphic for that.
Yeah.
And our wacky movie this week on the... You've written the September. You haven't put a number in there.
Oh, there. 28th of September. My bad.
The 28th of September 1982, the movie Galaxina premiered in the
In
United
Portugal.
States.
Oh, it's
You've
in
written United
Portugal,
States
damn
there.
it.
Okay, so it
My
was in
bad.
Portugal.
Yep.
And the plot is that the crew of the police cruiser Infinity are heading home after a long stay in deep space. Just as they think they're about to get some much needed rest and relaxation, they are given a new mission: journey to the alien world Alta 1 to find the Blue Star, a mystical gem that holds unlimited power. Their journey leads them to an outer space brothel full of alien women and a gang that worships Harley Davidson motorcycles. Worshipping Harley Davidsons kind of reminds me of Zardos.
Oh no, the Sean Connery one.
Yeah. And of weird sci-fi movies, it's rated R, and it would be hard for the poster to be more sexualized.
Oh yeah.
And the director thinks that the final cut was too slow paced because he had to cut scenes that were never filmed due to bad weather. They were given 20 days to film the original shooting.
That's pretty short.
Yep. It was Dorothy Stratton's final film role before she was killed in a murder-suicide by her husband. According to a article, it was released a day after she died and quickly pulled from theaters for a later release.
At time.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of that wrestler who went nuts and killed his family as a result of like brain damage.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
somehow, hours before the news broke, somebody edited his Wikipedia page, no knowledge of the events, and had a pretty accurate description on Wikipedia just as a coincidence.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that was it was very creepy. That was very creepy, and I was like, "What the heck has happened?"
The Batmobile from the 1966 Batman series parked in the street in the western town.
That's the one with Adam West in it, right? Yeah, it is
Yeah, I
the one
believe
with
so.
Adam West. Can you imagine Adam West Batman just walking, casually strolling in this movie?
And it was not Dorothy Stratton's first sci-fi role. She had previously appeared in Buck Rogers as Miss Cosmos. And the Foley sound for the doors on the spaceship are taken from Star Trek. It also features a scene of a topless woman because the producers thought the film needed nudity. It doesn't need the actual scenes that you couldn't film because of bad weather. It needs nudity.
Can you imagine a director saying this now? Like, we need more nudity. Come on, let's add more nudity. Make it more. Make more nudity.
Hello, HR.
Yeah. That would be the that would be the first phone call too.
Well, that's all we have for you this week. Make sure you check out our sponsor Res and get 10% off your order with the code NERDS, NERDS. Look after yourselves, say hi. Drinkres.com, actually. Drinkrez.com. Look after yourselves, stay hydrated, and we'll see you next time.
Stay happy, stay nerdy. See us.